Hello, YouTubers. I'm Dr. Khan here to react to episode 4 of The Pitt. I've been so enjoying this show and enjoying your comments to my reactions. Let's get into it.
I need rooms cleared and clean, so I'm shuffling the deck.
Yeah, but why are you moving him into peds? I'm just about to extubate him.
No kids in there at the moment. The family can have some privacy. There's nice pictures on the wall.
Leave the family in Central 7 alone until nuclear medicine's ready to take the kid. There's no sense in moving them twice.
Aye, Cap.
Okay, so this is a thing that happens commonly in hospitals. Nursing leadership has to control traffic in a sense. Commonly, they'll move patients from different rooms or different beds to other places without even letting the doctor know because they just have to get people moving. So I like their relationship and their communication so much. She said they moved the patient to peds. It's quiet. There's like nice things on the walls so the family can relax. And he said, fine, but don't move the young man who's brain dead, whose parents are going through a hard time. I really, really appreciate their communication. To a patient or a family member, they might wonder, why is my loved one being moved? Are they getting worse? And communication is so key with patients' family members too, not just between hospital staff.
We'll get morphine for any pain, and we'll give him some oxygen in his nose as a comfort measure.
Okay, so what they're describing is a process called active dying. We all know active birth, right? There's crowning, there's contractions, there's water breaking, a baby's born, and hopefully parents have been versed. Mothers read books, fathers go to classes. They are educated and aware of the active process of birth. And I feel like there's a huge lack in communicating the active process of death. Not that one's right or wrong or one's good or bad, but they're both heavy in weight. There's a whole series of physiological processes that bodies go through in preparation for death. I think it's super important that a doctor is well versed on how to explain those things to patients and their families. Patients usually slow down cognitively, they stop eating as much, they sleep a lot more, their hands or their feet get colder, they have long pausing before each breath. They may not speak as much, but they can still hear you. They could have a little rattle from being unable to clear out their secretions in their throat. None of this is supposed to be morbid, but there's a great show called Dying for Sex on Hulu in which the hospice nurse explains the act of death in such a fun, vibrant, celebratory way. And I really appreciated that because death is so often synonymous with bad.
Oh, active dying is a sacred time. At least it used to be, and it still is in some parts of the world. Your breathing changes, and there might be this gurgling in the back of your throat caused by something unfortunately called terminal secretions. I know.
And it's really a celebration of a whole life. I know it's so different when it's our loved ones, but still, I think it's worth mentioning the active process of dying.
Well, it's important that you focus on the good things in your life right now.
A very sweet boy that I barely even knew is dead, and I just made it worse. His father thinks I killed him, and you're asking me if I play sports?
Ooh. Okay, let's be real. Let's talk empathy. Empathy is not a natural skill. Most healthcare professionals don't really have it, myself included. In acute care settings, it'd be like almost impossible to have a good empathetic response to almost everyone. Doctors, teachers, parents, we almost always go into this mode of like, feel no pain, like distract, divert, change the attention, like turn on the TV, like be grateful, you have food in front of you, like be grateful, you have like a roof over your head. But empathy is a complex construct that's made up of natural tendencies. You don't naturally become more empathetic just because you have a medical degree or you've been taking care of patients for a long time.
You're stunned, right? I mean, blood?
She's had internal bleeding. She needs the blood to...
Is that the mom? I got a good comeback if it's the mom.
Yes, I'm her mother.
Sure. She needs blood. You want to kill her.
Yes, I definitely feel more humility the more I experience and practice medicine and see what happens in between, patients and health, and just the whole thing is like a very humbling experience. At the same time, like it's not just naturally given to you that now you have empathy. But yeah, she messed up.
Please, how thin is your skin? Rhino. Distraction is a terrible strategy.
I love that she asked for permission. She was like, how thick is your skin? Because you can't just like give feedback to people that aren't open to it. One of the best conferences I ever took in my life was about emotional intelligence and agility and personal development. And it made me a much better doctor and a communicator in general. Was that like, we might see people not being their best selves, whether it's our patients or our colleagues or our family members or partners, whoever. Just because you see them not being their best self doesn't mean that you now have like permission to fully hose them with your idea of what you think they should do. Imagine if I have a patient with obesity and they tell me they really want to lose weight, but then I see them sneaking chips or whatever. I can't be like, hey, you're a liar and you're not doing what you said you're going to do. So like, do it. You have to ask like, hey, like she's a great senior resident. She asked for permission before she gave feedback. And I just thought it was a really beautiful example.
When a patient says I'm hurting, we don't respond, what's your major? Additionally, I statements work better than you statements. I can see how painful this is, acknowledges the reality of the situation and invites further examination.
Understood, but in my personal experience...
Your personal experience isn't germane here.
Germane.
Relevant, pertinent, appropriate.
My life gives me a perspective that
Are
is
you
different.
where you have an aggressive energy, Trinity? Even this conversation feels confrontational. We bring our education to the job, not our baggage.
What a teachable moment. Who wrote this script? She was like, everything the senior resident was saying, the junior resident was like, no. And the senior resident was like, do you know you have an underlying confrontational energy? I can see myself in both, actually, but definitely in the one who's like trying to defend herself. It's true. I statements validate the patient's experience. Like, I can see how much you care about your friend that died. I can see how, hard this is. I can see how much you care. At the bare minimum, it's like, I can see how you're struggling over this, right? You're not telling that person that you're experiencing their experience for them, but you're just acknowledging their reality as their reality. And that's like part of a complete listening exercise. It's a really, really nice moment. There's actually a really nice Brene Brown clip on empathy, and it's like 2 or 3 minutes long, but it shows you exactly what empathy is compared to sympathy. You might want to check it out.
Why are you sticking me again?
Came in an hour after the chest pain. It's a heart attack. It can take more time for the heart damage to show up in the blood. Even with the normal EKG, that's why we repeat the test.
So here's why we check 2 troponins in someone with chest pain. Troponin is a heart muscle protein, meaning if the heart muscle is damaged, don't forget your heart is a muscle. It's a pump. It's an organ. It's not a muscle like your skeletal muscles. It's muscle like smooth muscle, which you don't really need to know about. But since a lot of people like learning about the intimate details of their human body, smooth muscles are shaped differently. I remember drawing them differently in histology class, and they have different contractile functions. And smooth muscle is what the heart's made of. The first troponin is checked at time 0, but he said he got to the hospital 1 hour after the chest pain. So whenever the patient gets there, you get a first troponin, and then about 3 to 6 hours later, you get a second troponin. That way you get a trend, right? You go, okay, is it going upward? Is the heart muscle being damaged? Is this a heart attack? There are several other reasons for high troponins. We're not going to get into that. Or is the troponin trending downward or staying the same, which means no heart muscle is damaged right now.
Oh my God. She's cleared medically. You may take her home. Here are some discharge instructions, but no more pills unless they're from a doctor or pharmacy.
Whew.
I won't. We're giving you some fentanyl test strips. These work on pills and liquids, and this is a Narcan spray.
You realize how lucky you are? Yes?
Yeah, I do.
This taps into the opioid and fentanyl crisis. I read a shocking statistic that in 2023, the DEA did a study that 6 out of 10 drugs found with college students that were like synthetic prescription drugs had opioids in them inadvertently. And I didn't realize this, but college students aged like 18 to 25 or whatever, they're taking Xanax, Adderall, sildenafil for erectile, I guess, hyperfunction. I'm not sure. Cocaine, MDMA, all sorts of drugs they're ordering online. They're not prescription. They're not regulated. And so many of them are laced with fentanyl and opioids. At ages 18 to 45, the number 1 cause of death is opioid-related illness. That is a large amount of preventable illness. I don't know why or when or how young people started ordering their own medications online. I know we always propose an empowerment, it's your health, it's your responsibility, but like trust the professionals. Kids at home, like college students watching this, like please get your medications from a licensed medical doctor. They will listen to you if you need help, if you need Xanax to relax, if you're having panic attacks, if you need something. They will help. They will listen. If you need Adderall, you need psychiatrists. People get into this field to help and to support. Don't order your own medications and try to treat yourself online.
Do you know what a hymen is?
Not really.
When the baby's developing in the womb, there's a membrane called the hymen, which blocks the vaginal passage. Before birth, most of it goes away, but sometimes it doesn't.
Is that dangerous?
No, not at all. The good news is that your daughter has an imperforate hymen, totally blocking the vagina.
Oh my God.
It's totally curable and an easy fix. Your daughter needs minor surgery, best done under anesthesia in an operating room by a gynecologist.
Then she'll be okay.
Yes,
Poor
totally
guy.
back to normal.
Thank you.
Okay, they just took him through a roller coaster of emotions. Okay, first of all, I really like how the senior resident's delivering the information clearly, directly, and firmly, I guess is the word. He just wants to know, is my daughter going to be okay? And then the other resident's so sweet. She's like, there's 3 months of violacious blood behind the hymen. It's like a wall. And he almost like gags and takes a step back. I think doctors, we could do a better job in how we deliver information. We can give the details of the diagnosis, the prognosis, and what the treatment plan is. And also, they will be okay. Many people have had this condition before this person. All the data shows that this will get better. When people are sick or their loved ones are sick, it's hard to imagine that they're going to get better. I realized how much fear mongering I was doing when I was sharing diagnosis and like, oh, you have fluid in the sac around your lungs, and we're just going to stick a needle on the side of your thorax and drain some of that fluid out. We'll do it bedside and it'll be painless and they'll numb that area. The nonchalantness of which I was describing that thing was like kind of alarming for people. And as much as I was like, we do them all the time, there is a level of like, your person's going to be okay. There are risks associated with this thing. We'll go through the risks, we'll go through the benefits, but at this point, we recommend this thing. So doctors, we could do better with delivering like they're going to be okay. Like everything's going to be fine. I've done this a zillion times or whatever the case may be, but also there's risks and it's going to be okay. This person's going to be okay.
What I'm saying is all I really want is someone to hold me and tell me that everything is going to be all right.
Thank you for watching my episode 4. If you like this video, subscribe and hit like. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you want me to react to next and how well you like this reaction. I saw a really funny medical drama and wasn't sure if I should react to it. The next one I want to do is called Dying for Sex on Hulu.